Welcome to Pull Pin Ready, Warm Edition. Back again as your host, Jim here. And since Nate is gone again, I've got the pleasure of having definitely not James joining me. All right. Welcome back. And
Hey, how's it going?
Amy, Ryan, Amy, Army, Ryan, Army. Got it.
Amy.
Fabulous.
Super. Oh my God.
And yes, so that is the crew today. And the task at hand is, again, we draw some headlines from the media, quote unquote, and we talk about
How
them
come we
from our
don't ever draw
perspective.
tow lines?
You can draw whatever you want to draw, but just let me get through the intro part.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
we talk about the headlines from our perspective, whether we've read the articles or not. Chances are none of us read them. I don't know though. Ryan or Amy, he seems to be reading a lot. But he or she, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to misgender you there.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a crime in Canada now, so thank God I'm not Canadian.
Right.
But we talk about it from our perspective as average veterans because we've been around the world, we've seen everything, we know everything, and we are always right and have never been fact checked because even when we disagree with each other, we're still right. So welcome again, gentlemen. Now, definitely not James this time. What did you have to say?
Oh, I was just wondering why we couldn't look up tow lines, why we're discriminating against the,
Gotta be
it's
headlines.
always headlines. Why don't the shoulders get any lines?
I totally didn't get. I was like, what is he talking about?
Enough?
I was like, what is he talking about? Thank God you clarified that. I was like, what the heck
Yeah,
is a
sorry,
tow line?
I put my woke hat on right before
Yeah.
I got on the call, and so I'm just sorry. My sensitivity's a little.
No, I
high
appreciate
right
your
now.
humor. I'm just getting old, so you're gonna have to explain more to me.
I could be menstruating too. We don't
Everybody
know.
says mail monthly.
Oh my God! So speaking about getting old, mistakes, and menstruating, I don't know if that one applies, but our first headline: FBI sent undercover agents into Catholic Church to investigate domestic extremism.
I'm sorry.
The hell is
define
domestic
extremism?
I'm with you on that one. What the hell
Is
is
that
it?
what they're calling diddling little boys now?
Dude, did you see the Dalai Lama thing?
No.
You have not seen that?
No.
Oh my goodness! Just go
no.
look at it.
Well,
How
He
do we go from
apologized.
Catholic to
diddling
the
little
Dalai
boys?
Lama?
I should have had that headline. Heck, he had apologized. This is a couple days back or whatever. He had apologized for asking a little boy to suck his tongue.
What?
It's on video too. It's on video. The whole interaction is on video. The Dalai Lama.
Wow.
It was almost like he was playing around, but who plays like that?
Yeah.
James?
Well, I mean, when you're that spiritually superior to everybody else, you might not be expected to understand the commoner's sense of humor.
Dude, and we totally missed that. Maybe he identified as a little girl, or the little boy identified as a grown woman. I totally missed that one. Yeah, okay, so I'm
Oh,
sorry, Dalai Lama. Didn't mean to call you out. Anyway, so the FBI looking at the Catholic Church because they're domestic extremism.
Okay,
I'm really
again.
curious of what that is.
Yep, define domestic extremism, because the last time I checked, the FBI still hasn't investigated the Catholic Church for priests diddling little boys. So I'm not sure what domestic extremism is, but I'm sure it's probably not as bad as little boys being diddled by old creepy men. So maybe FBI, we should prioritize here.
I think it really depends on
Just
what
saying.
side of the woke card you're on.
No,
As to
I
whether
could
it's important or
define.
not, because I'm telling you, the FBI, I could see them sitting in there if defining domestic extremism as something along the lines of preaching against transgender, preaching against any of that. That's what I would think it means. As far as from the federal government's point of view, that's where I
Oh, you
would
mean
see them going
promoting
after.
the nuclear family?
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly right. I could see them doing that. They're sitting people in because they think that the Catholic Church is preaching against that, which they probably are, rightfully so, in my eyes. But
Have they been doing for years, right? Well, I thought domestic extremism just was simply MAGA.
I mean,
I thought anybody who supported MAGA is an extremist, domestic extremist. Because they're the ones shooting up the schools now and
oh yeah.
beating up people, cisgender people, and yeah, yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you could look at, you could define domestic as, uh, uh, shit. What was his name? The Oklahoma City guy. I mean, that was domestic
Timothy
extremism, wasn't
McVeigh,
it?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Timothy
Timothy
McVeigh.
McVeigh. Yeah, that was domestic extremism, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
Or
think
do
so.
they mean like domestic as in your household? Like, I don't know.
Well, isn't extremism like thought? Like that would have been Timothy would have been domestic terrorism because he actually did something and it was for
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
he
some
true.
took
governmental
action
purpose.
on his domestic extremism. He had
Right.
domestic extremism thoughts, and then he used those
Right.
thoughts to blow up a fucking building.
So he was a
Look,
domestic terrorist, formerly known as a domestic extremist.
Yeah, yeah. Domestic. He was a domestic extremism guy who got promoted to domestic terrorist because
Terrorist.
he heard that there were, 40 virgins and little boys or goats or something.
I don't. Yeah,
Can't
I don't.
remember
Maybe they're
exactly how it all
virgin boy
goes.
goats. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, though, our FBI tax dollars wasted.
oh
All right.
yeah.
Moving on, because here's the guy who's wasting them. Biden admin taps Liberal Journalism Academy to teach journos how to be balanced and bias free.
Oh my God.
Wait, what?
Break that one down.
Biden taps Liberal Journalism Academy to teach journos how to be balanced. Wow.
It's like
Check,
the
please.
Babylon Bee. Yeah, right. It's like the Babylon Bee teaching people how to write real news. You know what I mean? Like they don't. Well, actually, a
No.
lot of their stuff's been coming in.
I mean, okay,
True.
like, okay, I have two questions for this. Okay, what is the Liberal Journalism Academy, and was this a Fox News headline?
Well, it's probably definitely a right-leaning headline, right? We can usually tell in the tone of the language what side of the aisle the headline comes from, right? So fair enough. So to say it's a Liberal Journalism Academy, that would have to be an opinion unless they proclaim themselves a Liberal Journalism Academy,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah.
being implied that
Because both sides of the news are equally as biased towards their
Sure.
own agenda as the other side is. I mean,
But I can-
nobody is any less guilty than anybody else.
But I don't need a bias to tell you right off the bat. You can use the first word of this headline and know where we're getting the journos from. Biden didn't go to a right-wing
here's the thing.
academy and say, "Hey, teach these guys how to be fair and balanced."
But
Are there
okay,
any fair and balanced media
here's
out
my
there?
thing, and this is going to be a little bit of a tangent complaint here, off into the weeds a little bit. But I mean, whether you love them or hate them, when did we stop referring to the president of the United States of America by their proper title and just calling them
that.
by their last name? That
Yes.
bugs the ever living fucking shit out of me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that started with Trump, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
No,
they've been doing that
no.
with. Well, it probably started way before that, but they've been doing it with Trump, with Donald Trump on his every court appearance he goes to. They call him Mr. Trump.
Well, that's just to
Yeah.
rub it in to take away that title or something. That
That's it.
Well, no. Once you're president for a day, you have the title forever.
Yeah, but they're trying to take it away from us. Well,
Well,
But
they're
I mean,
trying to.
they
even
call
while they're
former
in
president?
office, even while they're actively
Yeah.
in office, they don't refer to them by their titles. I mean, I think Joe Biden is probably one of the most incompetent administrators that we've had in a very long time. Okay, I don't
Yes.
think he should have been elected.
Nope.
But whether or not you respect the man, you need to respect the rank. He is the president
Wait
of
a
the
minute,
United
wait a
States of America,
Wait a minute.
and he deserves to be President Biden in his
Hold on.
headline.
hold on there. Definitely not James here. So I know I was in the Army. You were in the Army. Ryan was in the Army. We all know what that means. But if you were in the Air
Yeah.
Force, when did they ever use rank? So this has been going on a long time.
mean,
I'm sure they're not. I'm surprised they're not calling him Joe. Joe's admin taps Liberal Journalism Academy. Yeah, I get you, man. I think that goes along with the whole culture not even respecting life anymore. They don't respect the president. They don't respect the title. But there's got to be some blame on the people holding the title. Like even I can understand at some point why they would stop calling Trump president because of some of his antics and rhetoric stuff that kind of rub people the wrong way. I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? But I agree with you. No matter what the dirtbag officer was, you still said sir, and you still gave him a salute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bingo. Well, I mean,
So-
and regardless of how you feel about his politics, I mean, you look at Barack Obama, okay, and whether you agree with his politics or not, which I mostly don't, but all that stuff aside, I mean, he probably conducted himself as one of the most distinguished presidential guys that we've had in the office for a very long time. Okay. Very eloquent speaker,
Yeah.
very just everything, right? Just an eloquent, respectful kind of dude. And, for 8 years, all you heard about was, Obama this and Obama that. Never, or nearly never, was he ever referred to as President Obama.
So who was the last president that
As a
you
matter
remember?
of fact, it's odd because you hear him referred to as President Obama more now that he's been out of office for 7 years than you did during the 8 years of his presidency, which I just find completely asinine.
Who was the last one you remember? Who was the last one either one of you remember was called president?
I think, honestly, it probably started during Clinton's administration.
Oh, I was thinking
You don't
Reagan
think
was.
Bush?
I
Because
think Reagan
Bushes
was
were not
that,
president. I think Bush was all Bush, not President Bush. I don't think he got any
Well, yeah,
respect.
that's Bush Jr. Bush Sr., I think got his titles. I think a lot of the degradation of the respect for the office came about during the or at least the most recent degradations to the president's office came during President Clinton's administration with the whole Monica Lewinsky
Monica.
and dirty dress.
Well,
and all
then
that
he earned
business.
that, right? Didn't he earn that? He tarnished the name, the title, so he earned that.
Yeah, well, he's still head of the nation, even though he earned it.
Yeah, but I mean, whether he earned it or not, it seems like, I don't know, it's left a stain on the office
Yeah,
to a certain degree.
I agree.
And and whether or not Bush Jr. was the most eloquent speaker in the world or not, which, I mean, a lot of times he wasn't, but I mean, he always conducted himself with an air of respectability. And then, you follow that up with 8 years of President Obama. And again, not a fan of his politics, but, he conducted himself in a manner that is, expectant of, the leader of the strongest country in the world. And I feel like that's kind of what bit President Trump in the ass so hard, was that he didn't do that at all, which I know a lot of people found as a kind of a breath of fresh air to a certain degree, that he wasn't that politician. But it's not the politician that you're looking for, but you do have to have a sense of
Respect.
yeah,
Decorum, right? Decorum. That's a nice word.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's where President Trump was lacking a lot in.
I won't disagree, but I
especially
also
in his
understand.
Twitter rants.
We also have to understand too. There's a cultural shift, right? Because people would rather now call you by
Yeah.
your gamer tag or your Instagram tag or your TikTok tag than your actual name anyway. So there is a cultural shift. And let me tell you from
Oh,
my
yeah.
personal experience, doing some being in the schools and stuff, and you would be amazed how many kids don't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And here's another one. Let me give you. We took a trip to Washington, D.C. and went with the kids and all that. And this is a proud moment. I'm going to pat my son on the back and I'm going to promote him. But We were sitting there, and one of those little vendors, like the guys that sit on there like begging for money, whatever, has a little speaker, right? He started playing the national anthem out in front of the White House. Loudspeaker, everybody can hear it. My son and a kid next to him stood and put their hand on their heart. The entire class was still running around listening to the tour guides and just talking all over it. And I'm just sitting here. It even took me by shock because I didn't even hear it right. And to be honest with you, I was wearing a hat and I hardly ever wear a hat. And I was like totally. So my son made me look foolish. But what made me so sad is that I'm looking around, all these kids, all these people, none of them stopped for that song. None of them. So they don't respect the country anyway. So why would they respect the president? That's my story.
And what was the headline again?
Something about some academy. It doesn't really matter. Let's move to the next one because this is going to be a bigger one. U.S. warship sails close by man-made Chinese-controlled island.
Wait,
There's a float
the
by.
Chinese control a man-made island.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to come in and fix it.
They made it. They made the island.
Okay, so what are we worried about? It'll be broke in 2 years.
Did you get my text about Addie in the shower?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, please make sure she's in the freaking shower. Sorry.
So we're gonna do showers, drive-bys,
Yeah.
warships. Let's do it all.
So,
Yeah, well-
okay, so is that how we are transgressing the international waters laws now? And so, if you want more water area to control, you just go out
Create
and
it.
build your own island and
That's
say,
what
"Oh,
they've
this
been
is
doing.
my island. I control
Right.
it." And so now all of a sudden, for 20 miles or whatever around the coast, you control that whole circle. Is that how we're
That's what they've been
circumventing
doing
the
this.
international waters laws now?
They've been doing
I mean,
this.
it's fucking genius. Good for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been doing it.
Um,
But the funny part is what?
I
China's
mean-
been doing drills near Taiwan, and our ship goes past a man-made island. Woohoo! You show them, boys.
Yeah.
Push those waves up on that island.
I think they had more air jets in the air around Taiwan than they've ever seen before recently in that demonstration they were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're
One-
talking like, so many jets are blacking out the sun kind of
Yeah.
shit, like next level doomsday business, like
Mm-hmm.
the fire raids on Tokyo in World War II kind of looking shit and going,
Yeah.
So you think it's
You know.
coming? What do you think is coming? You think it's coming?
oh, that's coming. That's definitely coming.
You think they're going to hit Taiwan?
well, I
you think
mean,
they're going to
you know.
test us? What?
China's pushing the barrel.
China and Russia and Saudi Arabia just signed some equal defense pact or
Mhm.
something last week, I think it was. So I mean, but Russia had to do something to save face in the international world when they're getting their asses waxed by, the tiny little
Ukraine.
The massive Red Army, just getting a mud hole stomped in their ass by the tiny little Ukrainians, which is hilarious. I mean, I know it sucks for the Ukrainians, obviously. Like, I don't want bombs going off in my backyard, but anytime you get to black the eye of a superpower, hey, fucking good on you, right?
No.
But would China and Russia and Saudi Arabia make a terrifying trifecta in the World War III? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But
Coming,
is
man.
it more than I think we could handle without nukes? No, I don't think so.
Well, we still have to defend the homeland, which is the biggest challenge for all of them. But that's why China's doing everything they're doing, because they're destroying us from within. They're destroying us from within. So we're going to fight each other over pronouns, and we're going to start killing each other over stupid stuff
No,
so that they
that's
can
not
just
the
walk in.
Chinese. That's not the Chinese. Look, the Chinese are, I mean, honest to God, and this is no disrespect to China or the Chinese people or whatever, fuck it, whatever asterisk bullshit I have to say to protect myself here, but they don't have enough to not worry about, to even understand the pronouns argument. Okay, like I mean, really, the whole pronouns argument is a Maslow's thing. If you're at the top of the pyramid, then you've got enough food, enough shelter, enough, all of the basic things to worry about, where, you actually have the time to sit back and worry about self-reflection and self-identity
Right.
and blah, 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 blah. You don't get that when you're worried about where your next meal is coming from. Okay.
Right.
So the Chinese, yeah, they have food shortages problems. Okay. Probably have starving civilians 15 times to 1 to what we have here in the United States. Okay. China's fucked up in a lot of ways. And all the pronoun bullshit, that's all of us. Okay. The worst thing that the Chinese could ever do for their own selves would be to make some overt action on Americans, because Americans, just like the branches of the military, will sit there and fucking hate each other 8 days a week
So we have
until
a common
somebody else
enemy.
walks up.
Yep.
Yeah, and blacks an eye for you, and then all of a sudden it's all hands on deck, right? I can talk shit about my mama, but you can't.
Right.
Right.
And so, and if, all the jokes about World War III and all that good stuff, when Russia first went into the Ukraine, I mean, if the whole World War III thing comes to fruition, right? Which everybody thinks that, World War III would end with the world in a nuclear cemetery, but I think history has taught us that you can still have nasty wars where people are intelligent enough not to use the nastiest weapons.
Well,
I mean,
you
the
understand.
chemical weapons in World War One, the gas bombs, were just disgustingly nasty and repugnant, but they were so bad that you never saw them get deployed in World War II. Right? No matter how bad that fighting got, you didn't see any mustard gas in World War II.
Well, I could just tell you, nukes are off the table, period. Because even if Russia had the idea to nuke us, because China needs our land, China needs our food, they're not going to nuke the very soil that they need to grow food from. They're not going to do it. China needs us to go away, not the land. So the nukes are off the table for that reason alone. Because if China nukes,
Bingo.
or if we end up getting nuked in this country, the land is useless. That's why they're talking about the EMP. Because you do the EMP attack, and then we start killing each other for food and survival and all that stuff, and then they come in and they don't even have to worry about who has guns because they can just walk all over us. But we do have one more headline. So why don't we leave it there and I'll get the last word. Because this one, speaking of botched FBI Army Special Ops training raid captures unsuspecting hotel guest. Did you guys see this?
No.
No,
Holy
what
cow.
happened?
They were doing a training exercise and they grabbed an innocent civilian instead of the training person.
Oh
I think they even interrogated him.
my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
You said that was Army Special Ops that did that, or was FBI?
FBI Army Special Ops training raid captures unsuspecting hotel guest.
Oh my God. Dude. Well, that's going to be one rich guest.
Right? And could you imagine like with the
somebody's getting
standard
paid.
Yeah.
with the standard of soldiers and stuff today and the come on, man.
He probably knows some secrets that the FBI does now that he probably shouldn't know. Hey, yeah, guys, the FBI still waterboards.
Oh, he ain't getting paid then. He's
That's
gonna
not a
get
secret.
exactly.
Everybody knows that.
Right. Well,
he's gonna get Clintoned or something. I don't know.
yeah, he's going to get Clinton. There you go.
Crazy,
No.
right?
That is crazy. That's stupid. That's ridiculous.
Well,
A
that's
trading op. I mean,
We've all made mistakes, but that kind of mistake,
Jesus.
oof, especially during training. Like the police have raided wrong houses before. I get it, and I understand. Not that I condone that it's okay, but those mistakes could happen. But I mean, how were you even training in a hotel with people? Like, what were you doing?
Right. That's
Why
true.
would you? Who did the risk assessment there? Fire them, right?
Would you like to be there for the after action review, right?
Forget that. I mean, I'm just that guy needs to be fired. Whoever did that risk assessment, because they obviously didn't mitigate any of those.
Yeah.
Where did Specialist Johnson go wrong?
Is he in the safe room again? Oh goodness. Anyways, we pushed this one too, man. I'm telling you, you guys are great to talk to. So obviously these episodes run a little longer than Nate and I because we're boring. But thanks for showing up, guys. I really appreciate you. We are going to cut this one so that we can secretly talk about somebody's mama. Not anyone in particular. What are you pointing at? We're not. It's not on the same screen.
I guess on the other screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I see that now.
Anyways, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Do the really cool things that we ask you to do because what Nate gets mad when I say it, but we need your money so we can continue to bring this stuff to you, even though we've been doing it for free this time. Anyways, yeah, like, share, subscribe, and until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.